Hey, this is the Fighter, and I'm here at Gallagher's Steakhouse at the Strikeforce Press Conference with Mr. Scott Coker. Scott, thanks for being here today.
Good, nice to be here.
Now, 2009 has been a really huge year for Strikeforce. Tell us, what's been the highlight for you of this past year?
I think there's a couple. Obviously, the acquisitions of the media deal of our media partners coming into play, and having a Showtime fight series and having fights on CBS. I think that those are the highlights, because with that created the Fedor experience and getting Gina back in the cage and the EA game participation. It created a lot of great things, but I think it all stems from the relationships with Ken Herschel at Showtime and Mr. Kelly Call at CBS.
And what would you say the fight of the year in your company would be? Because you had a lot of big fights this past year.
Fight of the year. I think the fight of the year is Josh Johnson against Gilbert Melendez. That was an amazing fight. I mean, it people on their toes and it was standing ovation. I mean, it was just an amazing fight. And the first one was like that as well, and I think the third one will be like that as well.
Now, we're here today at the press conference for Mr. Herschel Walker, who's making his Strikeforce debut at the end of this month. And now, how did you first get connected with Herschel?
His manager, his name is Pram, tracked me down and said, I have a couple guys that want to do MMA, and one's Herschel Walker. And, we were opposed to it at first. We said, no, I don't think that's going to work, and I kept, avoiding the situation, really. And so finally, he says, just take a meeting with Herschel. I said, take a meeting with Herschel Walker? Sure, why not? So Herschel came over, we talked to him, and I said, geez, when he first walked through the door, I was like, geez, this guy's still in shape, right? But because you're in shape doesn't mean you're an MMA fighter. And so I said, Herschel, you know what, you really want to do this? Do you mind if we take you through a workout? So we took him through a workout over at Legends Gym with a grappler, a wrestler, and a Thai boxer, and he did pretty good. And I asked my matchmaker, I said, "What do you think?" He goes, "Well, if he comes and he dedicates himself and he comes to live in San Jose at the camp for 3 months, I think he can be ready." And that's what Herschel did. I mean, he dropped everything and came to the Bay Area to come train and put his life on hold, which I'm sure is going to have many implications later after the fight's over. And now he's ready to go, and he's in fight shape, and I've heard nothing but great things inside of the camp about his training regimen, about his discipline, about his work ethic, and so I think it's going to be an interesting time on the 30th.
Sounds very reassuring now, since you were a little bit hesitant at first.
Yes, I mean, I think that my viewpoint has definitely changed. And I go by what the coaches say. When the coaches say he's looking good, he had a great day of sparring today. He hit this guy, he took that guy down, and I mean, that's what I'm listening to. I'm listening to the coaches, and when the coaches say he's ready, I feel good about it.
Now, there's been a lot of other athletes from other sports, including now boxing, football. They're all jumping ship to MMA. What do you think has attracted them to come to the sport?
Well, you know what? I think some people might, my only example I can give you right now is, let's say, a guy like Herschel, right? Herschel's been involved in martial arts his whole life. This is a natural progression for him to test himself in martial arts. Because when he was playing college football, he told me at dinner one night, he said, I used to go play football during the day on Saturdays, and I would go fight in karate tournaments on Sunday. Right? So he's been in martial arts a long time, and martial arts has evolved into MMA, and so this is a natural progression for him. Other fighters, like pro wrestlers, like Brock Lesnar, made a great transition. Bobby Lashley, we're hoping he can make a great transition. We have a lot of confidence in him and his abilities, and those are the only three I can really think of. But other fighters or other pro football players that have tried to make it or trying to get into MMA. I mean, I'm sure they all have different reasons, but I'm sure they see it as the hot emerging sport that's going to be around for a long time.
All right, now we've got some of the Japanese contingent now started to come into the Strikeforce cards. Melvin Manouf is going to be fighting soon. Mario Sabiscus is coming on board. So who else is going to be popping in soon to Strikeforce?
Let's see here. We have Marius fighting. We have Melvin fighting on the show. I mean, we're hoping to have Aoki in the second quarter. We have to change his name to the Armbreaker, right?
Yeah, what do you think about that little arm break he did recently at the Dream vs. Goku show?
From everything I hear, the opponent should have tapped. So the opponent had an opportunity to tap, but he chose not to. It was the antics after that, it's unnecessary, but these guys are young kids. They're young kids do young things, and I think that was just a situation where he got excited, and he just got carried out overboard, and hopefully he'll that'll be a one-time situation.
Now, coming up, we've got Marius taking on Diaz for the title. So I want to get some thoughts on this, because I know Jay Hieron's been feeling a little slighted recently about seems like skipped over the title, since he was supposed to get that shot first. Now he's been kind of skipped over. What are your comments and thoughts about that situation?
I tell you, Jay Hieron's a great fighter, and we really wanted to fight Nick Diaz in the last show, and that didn't work out. And we weren't sure if Nick Diaz was going to fight on this card, and we offered Marius Zaromskis to fight Jay, and their management didn't want to do it. So, we were looking around, and then Nick Diaz became available, and really with that relationship with Dream coming into play, they were willing to put their Dream champion on the line against our number one contender at 170. Between the two organizations, we had to do it. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to have Jay fight the winner. If Jay beats Joe Riggs, then he can go fight the winner.
So he still has a chance.
No, absolutely. Jay. It's a situation, right? It's circumstances, situations, and things change in this business, and that's one of the things that changed. But hopefully we get that right back and put him right back in the mix, because we have faith in Jay. I think he could be a great fighter and a great champion, and he'll get a shot. He just has to be a little patient now. I think, not to say he hasn't been patient, but he just hang in there, Jay.
All right, now people who have read my print column and Tap Out MMA Worldwide magazine know I've been talking about this for months. The Strikeforce heavyweight title has been held hostage for the last 2 years. I'm sure you're probably sick of hearing this kind of stuff, but what's up with Alistair Overeem? Are we going to see an interim champion, or is he going to be stripped of the belt? Will he defend it this year? What's going on?
He'll defend it this year for sure. Yeah, for sure. And if we don't see something by summertime, we're going to move on. So that's it.
What's been the big holdup since he's been fighting in K1? He's had 12 fights K1 and MMA since about November '07. So what's been holding him back?
Our window of opportunity with him was because we have a dual contract between between him and us, and I know he's had a contract with K1 for a long time. So the deal was come fighting for us in the summertime, and then in the fall you can go back to K1 and fight for Dream and K1 and do what you got to do. And then he got hurt. So our window of opportunity to have him fight has really, went away as the year end came, as Dynamite show came. So he went. I guess what I'm saying is what he did wasn't new to me. I knew that was going to happen. So the next step for us is, get him a scheduled date and an opponent, and let's get it on.
All right. Last question here. 2010. What's going to happen with Strikeforce?
I'm excited. We went from doing 12 fights. We're going to do 20 fights this year. We got some challenger fights coming up on February 26th, March 26th. Excuse me. And we got some big CBS fights. We got some Fedor fights. We're going to get Gegard back in the cage. We got Dan Henderson coming up, and hopefully Gino come back this year. And got some exciting things. So stay tuned to Showtime or CBS, and you can watch it for free.
All right, Scott Coker, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
This video is sponsored by FindMMAGym.com. Looking for a new place to train? Head over to the best online directory for MMA gyms across the U.S. FindMMAGym.com.